welcome back to On the Workbench. It's been a while since I brought to you a video. In the meantime here, I've had a chance to move houses. I'm now living in Illinois, and with a new house comes a bunch of new projects, and one of these new projects is going to be changing some of the fencing. So we got a privacy fence across the back. We got a little small area back there. We need to extend a little fence area up here, all the way up to the street for our dog, so the dog can have some protected play area. And so you can see, starting off here, I got my string line set. I already spray marked for where I want my holes to go. And today I want to show you how to use the Little Beaver post hole digger. For marking this out, you'll of course have to mark and know where your holes go separately. That's up to the dimensions of how you want to design your fence. And where it needs to go, you need to make sure you got your utilities properly located. Just about every state has a free service that will come out and locate your utilities for you. Make sure you start that first and wear proper safety equipment. Whether that means wearing steel-toed boots and eyeglasses and gloves, make sure you're safe on the job. So we're going to start off here. We got our job site already marked off. Now we have to get the tool out of the car. In this case, I've rented the tool. As you can see, getting out of the vehicle, that was pretty easy. This is a Little Beaver one-man post hole digger. So we've got an engine mount here. It looks kind of like a lawnmower. We've got a rotating power cord here. And then we see that black bar there, that's for a torque tube. That's going to then transmit the vibrations from the transmission there on the power head back down to the base unit there to minimize operator issues with me. Over here, I've got two different size bits that I rented. And then I've got the torque tube, which then connects with a physical connection, the power head and the motor. So now it's just a matter of wheeling this over to our project site, lining it up, and getting started. Okay, so now that you've seen this thing in action, you can see it. Let's get a close-up of the power head here. This is on its side. We're sitting on the ground between holes. We've got an off and on switch here, so there's a quick, it's really basically just a kill switch here. That's at the handle. You got the throttle right here. This is a variable speed transmission. The tighter you pull the handle, the faster the auger goes. The total amount of variability, I didn't clock it, but it doesn't vary that much, but just enough to give a nice slow start so it doesn't jerk on you. A couple of nice features with that torque tube is when the bit's going through like a tree root, the entire thing is not trying to jerk and twist your arm, because with that length of that rod going all the way back to the little follow me little pup trailer, in order for it to jerk, it's got to move the weight of that engine sideways, and you've got the entire length of this rod here creating a movement arm here. So those of you taking statics, you can think you got force times distance here. You got to displace based on that rod or the auger. Give them the small diameter of the auger and the cutting head at the end. It makes it really easy for one person to go cut a bunch of holes really quickly. Back here on the power plant, the little trailer here that follows you around, One complaint that I've got is these wheels here don't turn, but on the other hand, that's not so bad because it keeps it from jerking sideways, because then you get the friction between the tires and the grass in the yard, or whatever you're cutting against, that creates that sideways resistance to keep the thing from torquing out of your hand. But it would be nice if it turned just a little bit easier, because if you have to make post holes that go an irregular pattern, where you have to approach it sideways, would make it a little bit easier. So on the side here, we've got an on-off lever, which is where you start with turning the engine on. This is a traditional pull start engine. And you've got a choke lever back here, so you can choke it on up. The left is choke, to the right is run. Put it on choke when you start it up, pull the handle a couple times, and you're good to go. This is a 4-cycle engine, so it runs on pure gasoline. There's a separate fuel tank, or separate oil reservoir here. So if you need to check the oil, that's right there for you to check. All in all, I've got to tell you, and when it comes to a piece of equipment that up for rental, if you've got a rental shop nearby that has one of these and you've got to set some post holes, by all means, absolutely grab one. And you're bringing it home, one thing to pay attention to, if you look carefully right here, there's a little sheen from a little oil leaking out. Maybe that's just the shop that I got it from, but it is just a little moist there, so it might not hurt to throw down an old piece of cardboard in the back of your car just to keep it clean if you're bringing it home. It's nice and compact, so if you don't have an SUV or a pickup truck to grab it in, you can put it in the back of your car because it comes apart. The power plant here weighs, if I had to make a guess, probably about between 50 and 75 pounds. So some of you may need some assistance getting that out of your car. Most rental places will help you load, but if you've got a buddy at home that can help you get it out with a 2-man job, that'd be great. Otherwise, the thing runs pretty easily. A little awkward to carry around and pull around, but once you get going and get the feel of it, all in all, it's a fantastic tool that does the job. I'm not going to buy one of these. They're well out of my budget, and I don't use it enough to justify it, but for a one-time fence job, this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to my local independent tool rental dealer. And I tip my hat to them. That's Noonan's Ace Hardware in Springfield, Illinois. Thank you so much and have a great day. A couple of notes about the torque tube. On the back here where the torque tube attaches to the engine, there is a special safety cutoff switch, so you can't actually start it unless the torque tube is attached to the engine. So that's got to be on, or for some reason this pin pops out and the rod disengages. The engine will shut off. That's a little kill switch right there that has to be depressed. That's really for your safety. You don't want to run the tool without this in place. It really does help prevent the torque. On the other end here is at the handle. There's an extension here that freely moves back and forth to extend it. So when it comes to putting it on or putting it off, you want to slide it on that end first and then bring it back to attach it there. The actual power cable here that moves the power generated by the engine, you want to be careful that you don't tighten that up too tight. I believe according to the manufacturer, something like an 18-inch diameter is about as tight of a radius as you want to make that. If you're going to loop it up, you got some electrical cables here that control your power switch, so you got to protect that when you're moving it around. Got some hand grips up here on the handle. All in all, it's a fantastic tool. And if we look at the quality of the holes that it cut, here's one right here. It cut very nice. No complaints about the holes. You can get various auger depths that go with this. Check your local rental store for the sizes of augers that they stock and are available for your use.